February is Black History Month, and all month long, News 4 has been introducing you to some hidden figures from the DMV. Today, we introduce you to advocate, educator, and activist Dr. David Johns. He's the CEO and executive director of the National Black Justice Collective, an organization that's dedicated to empowering Black LGBTQ plus people. News 4's Millette Green learned all about how Dr. Johns is making history as a so-called disruptor-in-chief.
I am an educator by training. I taught elementary school, kindergarten, and third grade.
Oh, I love that.
My babies are now college graduates, but they will always be my forever babies. And I took a pay cut to become a CVCF fellow because people talked about policy as a panacea. And at the time when I was teaching, No Child Left Behind was the discussion that everybody was having connected to education. And I foolishly thought, well, it can't be that hard to change policy. So I moved to DC and I'll do it myself.
Okay.
And that was in 2006. And so I spent a lot of time working on Capitol Hill for Congressman Rangel. I worked for Ted Kennedy and Tom Harkin, and had the pleasure of leading the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African Americans under President Obama. It was then that I worked for a woman named Sharon Ledman Hicks, who had the job that I now have. We collaborated on a summit for Black LGBTQIA plus youth, and it literally changed my life.
What's the most pressing issue right now that you're working on?
There are so many pressing issues. I think I want to name the opportunity for us to be better humans, to exist better in community together, and to show up in love.
Tell me about this sweater.
Yes.
Tell me what this is for you.
I chose to wear this today as a head rustinet. NBJC is a civil rights organization at the intersections of racial equity and LGBTQIA plus equality, and Bayard Rustin is one of our ancestors. He is the best friend of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He is godfather to many of their children. He taught passive nonviolent civil disobedience to Dr. King and so many leaders of the civil rights movement, and this shirt was designed by one of my dear friends.
One of the standout initiatives that I remember during the Obama administration was My Brother's Keeper.
Yeah.
And you worked on that.
My Brother's Keeper was an opportunity for our country to remember the obligation that we have to ensure that boys have the support they need in order to grow to become men who are healthy, happy, and whole. At the time, it was an opportunity for us to remind folks that for every one white male student suspended or expelled in kindergarten through 12th grade, that the rate was 3 times higher for Black boys. What was often missed, but was equally important at that time, was that the rate for Black girls was 6 times higher compared to their white female counterparts.
I want to make sure people understand what the National Black Justice Collective is doing. We just lost the Reverend Jesse Jackson, one of the giants of the civil rights era movement.
I've spent a lot of time this week with Reverend Jackson's DNC speech, where he talked about America being unique because we are not a single patch in a quilt, but we are a quilt that is held together by the differences that make us beautifully diverse. And he named specifically at that time Black folks and poor folks. He named LGBTQIA plus folks and was one of the first leaders on a national stage to do so. And now in 2026, it's more important for us to understand and live the lessons that he tried to teach us so that we can all thrive.
I love the whole mantra of teach the babies. And you have a podcast.
Yes, we started the podcast celebrating the anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. I was really interested in the question of what have we gained since that incredibly important landmark Supreme Court decision. And it provides me an opportunity to engage with experts, brilliant thinkers like yourself, to talk about how it is that we can work better to support our children.
Lastly, what is your message or what is your hope during Black History Month and beyond, as many news stories that get the headlines or maybe not get the headlines impact LGBTQ plus people?
I think my message is to Black LGBTQIA plus folks. I want you to understand that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, that there are no mistakes, that we have always been here, and we will continue to be gatekeepers to allow so many people to get closer to their freedom. And to our siblings, to folks who want to show up as active accomplices or what people typically refer to as allies, I encourage you to exist in community with people who can help you grow in your understanding and appreciation of the differences that have always existed. So in short, just show up in love.